How do you use SAM.gov saved searches to make sure you never miss a contract?
So I would say it's kind of 4 steps. So the first step is to manually search for opportunities because you need to see what is out there. And a lot of people have misconceived notions about what is on SAM and what is not SAM. So it always starts with a manual search at the beginning of this process. And then from there, step number 2, you kind of start to build a search that is a match for your business. So you start to consider some of those search criteria like keywords, NAICS codes, etc. Maybe place performance. There's lots of tabs you can play around with on SAM, but then you start to, bring it in, dial it down a little bit till you're finding better opportunities that are a better match for your business. Once you have something that you're working with, kind of the next step is you want to make sure you save it, okay? Some of you guys forget this. You get it all dialed in and then you don't save it. And then tomorrow you have to do it all over again, manually, all over again. No, that's why we do it manually to start with. So you need to save it and then you turn on the actual notifications. So that way you can receive those updates for those search results continually, every single day. And then lastly, you need to make sure that you're reviewing, step number 4, review those search results. Are we happy with what's coming in? Are we not happy? Do we need to add some filters? Do we need to add some NAICS codes, whatever? So it's kind of like a 4-step process, but that is what it takes to thoroughly go through this, to have something that's going to be saving you a lot of time and giving you a big payoff.
How do you filter saved searches so you're only seeing bids worth pursuing?
So I already mentioned it, NAICS code is a big one. So you need to make sure you're using the NAICS code filter. If you're having multiple searches or you're working on an individual search, the first thing is going to be the NAICS code. Next, we also have to consider keywords. The way that I kind of like to go about this is start with the NAICS code and then see what pulls up, identify keywords in those results, and then use those keywords to do another search, and that will bring you more NAICS codes. Okay, so you kind of go back and forth, they feed one another, and through that you can kind of build a silhouette outline of those opportunities that are, that way you're not missing anything. That's the main goal here. We also want to look at set aside. So if you're doing a search, definitely do at least one search for total small business set aside. And also do a search for full and open or unrestricted competition. If you are a veteran, if you are a woman-owned and you want to have searches just for that, that's fine. But don't make sure that you're not leaving those 2 out. We also need to look at agencies. So what agencies are buying the most of the goods and services and the NAICS codes. Okay, you have to add agencies to your searches. And then essentially you just need to keep refining that, like I said, until you have your ideal match.
How much time should saved searches actually save you?
So kind of break it down, right? You're going to be spending less time searching because instead you're going to be going to your searches. So there's time saved there. You're going to be spending more time qualifying opportunities, which means you're going to be spending more time actually looking at opportunities, doing bid, no bid assessments to decide what you want to go after. So the implications of that on your business is actually pretty substantial. You're going to be able to then spend more time writing proposals and building more relationships, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it all starts with that first big domino, or not even the big domino. It starts with the first small domino, and then those dominoes get bigger and bigger and bigger. Before you know it, that one little domino is knocking down a huge one because you're submitting more offers, you're building more relationships, building a bigger teaming database, whatever, because you're saving that time every day or every week on searching because you're setting this on autopilot and you're letting SAM.gov do the heavy lifting essentially here.
Can saved searches actually keep your pipeline full?
Yes, 100%. Number 1, they create consistency. Okay, it's very important to be consistent. But if you're not doing it manually and you're taking the human element out of it to some degree and you're automating it, you're not going to mess it up. Right? We all have bad days. We all get sick. We all forget. We all get overwhelmed, whatever, right? But if we can make sure we lock in the most important things, then we're not going to mess it up. So we're going to stay consistent. This is also going to make sure that you're not missing opportunities. So only those relevant opportunities that maybe you wouldn't see because you're busy looking at the wrong ones, those are going to be showing up for you. That's really, really important. And really the main goal is when it comes to your pipeline, if you're getting more opportunities and more of the right opportunities, I call it the 3-to-1 pipeline where you go after 3 with the hope of submitting on 1, okay, by the end of the stage, because deals fall apart. So the more that you're feeding your pipeline with this kind of driving engine, this driving force in place, the more opportunities that are going to make it past the finish line, the more numbers you're going to be putting on the board. And guys, a lot of that has to do with proposal writing, and I kind of have my free gift for you at the end of the video for GovRFP. So if you're not plugged into GovRFP, I have some free modules I can plug you in for proposal writing. But let's go ahead and continue to the next question.
How quickly should you know when a new opportunity is posted?
So you're going to know within the first 24 hours when you're setting everything up. But then you also want to be checking anything that you're following or clicking that watch button on those individual opportunities. You want to make sure you're checking those manually every day as well. That way you can kind of split the difference between when the automatic notification is going to come to your inbox and when, maybe throughout the middle of the day or something like that, when activity is at its peak, maybe like in the middle of the day in the afternoon, you're doing a manual search. If there's something peak that could happen, essentially this is going to be able to give you better teaming information, better proposal information, better pricing information, because the sooner you receive maybe an update, an amendment, site visit, answers, anything like this, the quicker you can respond to it. And as you guys know, with proposals, we don't have that much time, and we're often kind of against a rock and a hard place here. So we want to make sure we're able to move and pivot as quickly as possible, especially if something changes that we didn't plan on.
How many saved searches should a growing contractor have?
So you need to have 1 for every primary service at a minimum. And I actually prefer to break that up. So if you're thinking of it as 1 primary, but how could we break that up, right? We could have 1 for that service, but it's NAICS code based. We could have a second that's keyword based. Or if you want to combine those, it's a NAICS code in a keyword, right? Or we can do a NAICS code with a target agency. If you did the proof of concept exercise that I talk about, you find which agencies are buying the most of the NAICS codes that you have to offer, right? You pull in those agencies. So we want to think of it in main service lines, or if you follow my concept, even with the umbrella, the different spokes of the umbrella, do 1, kind of look for each. And then if you want to do a hybrid or break them out even further for individual searches, you can have anywhere from, 3, 5, up to maybe 10 or a dozen searches, depending on how many different service lines and areas you're pursuing and you're trying to focus on.
Bonus questions. What's your take on breakfast food for dinner?
I'm for it, and I'm for it because I'm not big on breakfast foods for breakfast. I remember as a kid, if we would go out for breakfast to a restaurant, I'd usually get like a hamburger and a Coke when I wasn't eating so healthy as a kid. But it made me feel great for some reason in the morning. I'd rather have, eggs and bacon for dinner than I would for breakfast. And so now, as you have your saved searches, you need to start positioning and pivoting over to reading the solicitations and building a proposal outline so that you can eventually get out a compliant competitive proposal. And guys, that's why I created GovRFP, Need a Proposal, Get GovRFP. As my thank you for staying at the end of the video. I have opened the first 3 modules to GovRFP absolutely free, no credit card, just put in your email address and you can access that. If you want support taking your proposals to the next level, you can visit my website, GovKidMethod.com, and just click on the GovRFP tab. Like I said, you just enter your email address and you can literally get into that right now. And as you do that, I also just created another video, which is really, really important because it speaks about learning the second language that is government contracting. And when it comes to reading solicitations that are dozens or 50 or 100 pages long, right? You don't want to read page by page, line by line. So that video, I give you kind of my hacks, my tips, my tricks to reading solicitations quickly so that you can get in quickly, find what you need for a proposal, and then you can get into writing proposals, like if you're using GovRFP. So I'll put that video up as well for that training if you want to check that out. And guys, make sure you subscribe to the GovKidMethod YouTube channel. We're one of the fastest growing government contracting channels. And check out either GovRFP or the next training. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll go ahead and see you in the next one.